Everybody. Just waiting to go live on Instagram. There we go. So I am back with another Crescent Wisdom podcast. And so today I am just going to find my script so that I can read my intro. So today we're going to be talking about the alchemy of inner transformation. So welcome to Crescent Wisdom Moon Medicine Conversations, where ancient wisdom meets modern healing. I'm Gigedo Migunkwe, also known as Rolia Lair, and I'm so grateful that you're here with me today. As we gather under this last quarter moon in Taurus, apparently I cannot read today. Apparently I can't read many days, but we're being invited into one of the most profound mysteries of the human experience, the alchemy of transformation. Today, we're exploring how our greatest challenges, the experiences that break us open, often become the very doorways through which our most authentic healing and growth emerge. This Taurus moon is asking us to ground into the earth of our experience, to feel into the solid reality of what transformation actually looks like what transformation looks like when it's happening in our bodies, our hearts, our daily lives. And with the sun opposite Chiron, our wounded healer, we're being shown that our deepest wounds often contain our greatest gifts. The ancient alchemists understood something profound that lead could be transformed. Hang on. So the the ancient alchemists understood something profound that lead could be transformed. That lead could be transformed into gold. So that lead could be transformed into gold. There we go. So the ancient alchemists understood something profound. That lead could be transformed into gold, not through force. No, that lead could be. Oh my goodness. Apparently I cannot do this. So the ancient alchemists understood something profound, that lead could be transformed into gold, not through force, but through patient, conscious process. They knew that what appears to be destroying us might actually be refining us, revealing the precious metal that was always there waiting beneath the surface. So apparently that one there was really challenging for me to be able to read. So Jupiter square Chiron is expanding our healing opportunities right now, while Venus trine Chiron reminds us that love, especially love for ourselves, is the secret ingredient in all true transformation. Uranus in Gemini is bringing revolutionary new ways of thinking about change itself. So settle in with me as we explore the sacred art of allowing our struggles to become our strength, our wounds to become our wisdom, and our challenges to become the very doorways through which we step into who we're truly meant to be. So it's a good thing I don't sit here and read the entire script, because oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? So I apologize for all of the challenging reading that I had this morning. I also didn't sleep last night, so I'm a little bit more tired than I probably should be, could be, am. So so hopefully my my outro is not going to be as brutal as that was. So I'm on the hammock again today, but I'm actually sitting in a different position with the hammock. So I've actually got you can actually see the actual trees behind me, and you can see my flower bed. So this is the hammock, and then the flower bed is right there. So for those of you who are catching this on audio, you are not seeing this, but just picture these 50-year-old pine trees that just wrap itself around on the one part of our property, which is amazing. And so they belong to our neighbor, but we are definitely very thankful and grateful for their trees. And so that is so this is one of my spaces. This is where I get to hang out. So I'm really grateful for all of these beautiful, beautiful spaces. So we were talking about the alchemy of inner transformation. So even though I couldn't actually read what it is that I was trying to say, so basically what I was trying to say is that lead is you actually find that precious metal by being patient and taking your time to be able to move your way into being able to find it. And that was what I was trying to read, but apparently I am not able to read lead, 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 and then try and figure out which lead and lead it's supposed to be. So that was where I was having some challenging. So that reminded me of the guy in Quebec who has these skits where trying to learn the English language and the French language, and the guy's coming from some other country, and so this guy does like three guys and skits and pretends to be all three of them, and it's like really cool. And so yeah, so that's what that kind of reminded me, is like lead, lead, lead. I don't know what it is that it's supposed to be saying. And so yeah, that's where it's at. And so so what I wanted to talk about today, so like I said, we're talking about the alchemy of inner transformation. So that inner transformation is so huge in terms of where we're at. So we're talking about where, I'm just going to go back for a second. So the sun is opposite Chiron. So Chiron is our wounded healer. So that is the that is where things just kind of like come up. And so like this is the part of us that needs to be healed. And it usually comes up when there's something that needs to happen. So if you actually paid attention to what has been going on in the last couple months, last couple weeks, last couple days, pay attention to what are some of the things that you have that are coming back up again, not necessarily again, but that are coming up that are making you face it. So it could be something that's coming up again, or it could be something new that is coming up and that you're needing to try and figure out, how do I navigate this? And so so that's what that part of, like, so that's the sun opposite Chiron. And so we're in that last quarter moon. So that last quarter moon is where we're really trying to get things finalized, getting things finished, as we actually start to slow down and be part of and getting ready for that new moon. So we're getting into the final later stages of the moon. And so so early this morning, a friend of mine, my neighbor actually, posted a picture of being able to have some she posted a picture of the moon, and it's still pretty full. And so, but we are in the last quarter. I don't know exactly what the date is of the last quarter. I should have looked that up, but I didn't. But we're in that last quarter energy, and that's coming up. So Tracy says, happy you have some happy spaces. I do have some happy spaces. This is beautiful spaces. I love my spaces. And I love being outside. And even in this heat, I've still stayed outside most of the time, because winters become long. And so it's not much longer. Last night was pretty cool. We should have probably turned on the heat, but we didn't. And it was a little chilly last night. And so now, so that's the Taurus moon. That's what we're talking about. So Taurus is that practical energy. It's that family oriented energy. And so like, those are the energies of things that are actually going on as we're actually talking through today. And so then Jupiter is squaring Chiron. So Jupiter is that expansion. So like where we were talking about, like, so the sun is opposite Chiron. So like that's that. So like there's some things that we have to heal that are actually coming forward. And so with Jupiter is that expansion. And so then it allows us to be able to find those healing opportunities, having those moments of being able to have having those that connection. And so one of the things is that I am super blessed that I actually get to do some healing with somebody that I admire very much. We start that next month. And so she reached out to me yesterday to say that I was going to be able to work with her tomorrow. So yeah, so I'm super excited about doing that, because we all need healing. We all need people to be able to help us move through the different things that we have going on. So really, really excited that I actually get to do that with her. And I'll share more as we kind of move through the through the process and things like that, but it'll happen in September. The other thing that is going on right now that I shared in the intro was Uranus in Gemini is bringing revolutionary, apparently I still can't read, so is bringing revolutionary new ways of thinking about itself. So one about change. And so one of the things that is really important for us to be able to remember is that there's always a way, there's always something. And so even when we are feeling in our most despair, when we are feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there really is light at the end of the tunnel. And you just need to find, where is that space? Where is that? What's that next step? Where's that next thing that we need to go to? And so through the trials and tribulations that we go through, sometimes becomes really challenging, sometimes becomes really difficult. And so it's just a reminder that we need to move through things. And so, so this energy, so the Uranus in Gemini is actually going to help open things up so that we know where are those things. What are some of those things that are coming up? So if you're not the glass half full kind of person, then you're actually going to be able to see and think outside of the box and bringing in that energy. So now that takes us into, so I just wanted to go back and chat about, because apparently I couldn't read. So I just wanted to talk more about what it is that I wasn't not able to read. So the next thing that I want to be able to talk about, so like the other thing that's on my list of things to talk is, what if your breakdown is actually a breakthrough? And so I can, so there's some things that are going on right now as well. And so like that is, so that's going to be, that breakdown is actually going to, I'm not having a breakdown, mind you, but like there's things that are going on that are allowing us to be able to see the forest for the trees, like all that kind of stuff is happening. But when I actually go back and look at back in 2014, when I had actually, even if I go back a little bit further and go back to 2013, when I had my suicidal ideation situation, I don't even know what you want to call it, but it was like, it was happening. And so then I contacted my doctor, I got put on medication. That was the first time that I had ever felt suicidal. So like, and then it was like, put an emergency plan in place so that people knew what it is that I needed to do. And then things just didn't change. Like, so yes, I was on medication and that helped to kind of stabilize things. But what was going on in my life was just so big and so huge that things just continued from 2013 until 2014, when I lost my job. And then that was the straw that broke the camel's back. Like that was it for me. And so then I still really needed to kind of work through, but that breakdown was, and in that moment, obviously I did not know that, but that was my breakthrough. That was the time that I actually got to see where things had shifted, where things had changed. And so right now, when I look at the situation, look at the circumstances of things that are going on right now, look at all the things, and it's like, okay, so where do things need to change? How do I need to change? Where are some of the things that need to happen? And so boundary setting for me right now is huge. So really working on setting boundaries, being able to like maintain that. Some of the other things that are kind of like in the works of things that I'm working on is being more physically active. Like, not that I'm not active already. I get in some pretty good steps in a day, but like just being more mindful of the actual activity that it is that I'm going to be doing, so that it's like I'm literally going to be taking half an hour, or I'm going to be taking an hour, or whatever it is that's going to be, so that I'm just being more mindful of the physical activity and kind of bringing that back into some routine. But right now I'm just enjoying the sun. So like that's we're not in a heat wave anymore, but we had been in a heat wave, and doing extra physical activity was just not happening, other than just doing stuff in the yard. But like, it's just being able to kind of figure out all those things and figuring out what do we have going on, where do we have things that we need to change, and is there something in your life right now that is just falling apart? Like, is there something, or it feels like that it's just falling apart? And so, just really important for us to be able to have a look at what's going on. What else can we see? Sometimes we might need to brainstorm with someone else so that we can figure out, like, what's the next step? How are we going to do this? And excuse me. So, because sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. So, it's just really important for us to be able to do that. And so, excuse me. And so just being able to, like, be mindful of what do we need? How do we need it? Where's it going to go? What's going to happen? And so sometimes having somebody else brainstorm with us, not having somebody take over and not having somebody tell us what to do, but just coming up with some, like, really crazy ideas. So those really crazy ideas, there might be something within that crazy idea that will allow you to figure out what's the next step? How are we going to do that? And so and just bringing it forward and figuring out how to go from point A to point B to make that work. So just really so, like, that's just, we might need to be able to do that. So, like, that, just keep that part in mind when you're actually doing that. So I'm just checking to see if there's anything that I wanted to talk about. So one of the things that is really important for us to be able to remember as well is sometimes we need to let things die off, right? So, like, if you are pulling cards and you're pulling the tower, for example, it's like, oh my God, like, the whole tower is just fallen down. And, like, how am I going to be able to, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? How am I going to rebuild? And that's what this whole part of it is. And that's what this whole alchemy of transformation, of inner transformation, is all about, is that there are things that are crumbling and we need to brush them away instead of trying to glue them back together again. And so if it is stuff that we're supposed to pick back up again, then we pick it up. But for the most part, in this particular context, is, do we really need to? Is this really something that we need to fix, or is this something that we can kind of let go and let be into wherever it is that's going on? So just keep an eye on that as we're actually going through this last quarter moon in Taurus. And so the next question is, how difficulties forge our authentic power. And so all of the things that I've been through have been stepping stones to being able to get to where I need to be. And so oftentimes people say, oh, well, what age would you like to go back to? I don't want to go back to any age, because then I have to go back through all those patterns and all those things again. And I don't know that I would want to change any of the things that I've done or any of the things that I have experienced, because those experiences have brought me to where I am today. And those experiences have given me the knowledge and the wisdom of what it is that I need. I need to be able to take things into my next path, take things into the next step, take things into the deeper healing. Whatever it is that's going on allows me to be able to go through that process. And so that's where that authentic power comes in. That's where we're going to find that inner strength. That's where we're going to find that transformation. And a lot of times people will say, I'm just not strong enough to do this. When you actually stop and think about all the things that you have been through, and you've probably been through lots, is that you've had coping strategies. You've had ways of being able to navigate that. You've had ways of being able to figure out how to be able to get to that next step. And so using some of those things will allow you, so long as they were in a healthy pattern, right? So if you were under eating or overeating or moving into addictions, like, that's not going to help you get through to the other side. So it's being able to find those good, healthy coping strategies that have worked in the past. Sometimes the one thing that works really well, or that one of the things that you may not even think about that works really well, is something as simple as, who's your person? Who's the person that you can call when all hell's breaking loose? Who's the what are some of the things that you can do? So is it going for a walk? Is it going to have a bath? Is it going to have a nap? Like, what is it that you need to do that actually allowed you to be able to get to that next part? And so, like, it's just really important for us to be able to look at what are some of those tools? What are some of those things that in those difficult moments that we were in that helped us get through those difficult moments in a healthy way, right? What are some of those things? And so for me, really, it is sitting underneath these trees. For me, it really is having flowers growing in the garden, in the yard, that I actually get to share with Clark because he loves our flowers. We had for example, we had a rose that actually grew, and he was like super excited. And it was our first rose that we had. We've had other ones since, but it was our very first one. And he was able to go and gift it to his mom, and like the great big huge smile of like, oh my gosh, I get to give my mom this rose. Like that's healing for me. Those are moments of just being able to just sit in this space, being able to just sit and enjoy the smell of the lilac bush when it's growing, when it's first coming out. Whatever it is that's going on is how we're going to be able to do that. And so just pay attention to some of the things that are going on, and what works for you may not necessarily work for someone else. But sometimes, like I said, I'm going to go back to that brainstorming. Sometimes we need to brainstorm with someone else, because maybe somebody's going to come up with an idea of something that's worked for them or that's worked for someone else that you can actually take and put it in your own back pocket and be able to move through that next step. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on today is trusting the timing of your transformation. So sometimes we're like, oh, I just want this to be over. I just want this to be gone. I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Sometimes it's not time for certain things to be addressed. And as much as you try and dig and dig and dig to try and put it to bed and try and put it to rest, it's like a bad weed, and it just keeps popping back up again. And so, because it wasn't time. And so maybe now is the time. Maybe now is where this is supposed to happen. And so Taurus is earth energy. So it is just really being able to be grounded. It's really is being able to be out in nature and being able to connect. And so, like, all of my Australian friends, like, I know that it's a little bit cooler for you, but is there a moment where you can get bundled up and be outside? And so over the last couple of years, I've actually been going for walks in the wintertime, which is huge for me because I'm not an outdoorsy person in the wintertime. Summertime, I am out here as much as I can, as much as I want to be, and we've had very little rain. So we've had, so I've been outside a lot, but it's also been super, super hot. But it still allows me to be able to like go and connect with the trees. It allows me to be able to go and plant some new flowers. It allows me to be able to just go and just feel this cool breeze that's happening, right? So like it's not cold, it's cool. And so like it's just a really nice energy. And so what's really interesting is like, and I love being able to see life through Clark's eyes, because he's like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Right? Because it is something. And we were over at my mom's the other day with him, and he was, he saw some butterflies, and he's like, I'll catch it. And he's like literally running around in the backyard at my mom's chasing butterflies. And so like just being able to be in that space and be in that moment, and just being able to like just enjoy it. And so, but it's like those little things of like, do you hear the wind? Do you feel the wind? Do you feel the sun? Do you smell the somebody cutting the grass? Do you smell somebody doing a barbecue right now? Like whatever it is, like just what are your senses? What are some of the things that are going on? And that will bring you back into your body and be able to be back into this space and back into this timing. So Uranus in Gemini, gift of new perspectives. So we were talking about that a little bit earlier, where this is the time where we're going to see some other things that we didn't even think about. Some other opportunities that it's like, oh, yeah, that works. Oh, I didn't even know that that was even an option. And so, and just being able to like, and some of them will work out and some of them will not. So just figure out what resonates for you, figure out what makes you feel good, and see where it's actually going to take you. And so it doesn't have to be, change doesn't have to be traumatic. You do not have to like jump out of your skin so that you can become this whole new person. So like take one step forward, one step, and sometimes we're going to take 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and that's okay too, because that 1 step forward that we gained allows us to be able to have that connection. And so so keep that in mind as you're actually going through. And so going back to that whole the lead thing that I couldn't read earlier is like the gold within the lead, right? So recognizing the gifts hidden in your challenges. So what are you learning from the challenges? What are you learning from the things that are actually making things difficult for you in this moment? And so embrace those lessons, embrace those moments, embrace that time of being able to learn and take that next step as to like, what am I going to do next? How am I going to do this next step? And just really embrace it and find the gifts in all those different things. So living the alchemy, I can't read. So living the alchemy process. So how do we live this alchemy wisdom daily? So start by asking different questions. Instead of how do I fix this, ask, what is it trying to teach me? So kind of going back to what it is that I just said. Instead of how do I get rid of this feeling, ask, what does this feeling need from me? Right? So maybe it is taking you back into an inner child moment where you need to like just nurture that inner child in this particular moment. Or maybe you're angry about something, and that anger is that motivation that's actually going to get you to that next step. That anger is going to be allowing you to be able to say, yeah, I'm not okay with this. And you're going to find another way of addressing it. So obviously, when you're feeling angry, exploding and harming others or damaging things or harming yourself is not part of it. But when you feel angry, there is a motivation that allows you to be able to like make change. So it's just really important for us to be able to take a look at where's that coming from? How intense is it? What do we need to do? Do we walk away? Whatever it is that needs to happen that way. So I'm going to invite you also to work with the lunar cycle. So this is the last quarter moon, which is perfect time for releasing old stories about what your challenges mean. What if they're not evidence of your brokenness, but proof of your capacity to grow? So that is something that I want you to take a look at as you're feeling like, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this. Oh my gosh, it's never going to happen. Where am I going to go? How am I going to do this? What are my next steps? And just really being able to take into that moment, but also being in the moment. And so but we're not broken, and that's something that we also need to remember, is that we're not broken. We have the world happens to us, or the world doesn't happen to us, the world happens for us. And so all of these experiences are for us to be able to learn. What do we need to learn? How do we need to learn it? What is it that we need to do? How are we going to be able to do that? So so create space for the messy in the middle, right? So like when everything gets all jumbled up, like just take the moment just to be in that space. And just be in that moment. So So choose one challenge that you're currently facing and ask, what gold might be hidden in this experience? What strength am I developing that I couldn't develop any other way? So in this moment of the situation that's going on for you, where is it that it's happening? What is it that needs to change? And what are we learning from this? How are we moving through that next step? What is it that we are, what strength are we gaining? Are we reinforcing a strength that we actually had? So just really important for us to be able to trust in the transformation, trust in the things that you have going on. And so now here goes to my reading again. So cross my fingers that I can actually do this without jumbling like I did at the beginning. And but those of you who know me know that I just go with it. And so and you get me as raw and real as I am. So that is really important for me. So I have attempted to throw away the perfectionism and try to move through just being natural and being me and having fun with it. So thank you for joining me in this exploration of alchemy of inner transformation. I hope this conversation has given you a new way of seeing your challenge as sacred opportunities for growth. If you're feeling called to go deeper with this transformational work, I want to share something that you might be interested in. I offer personalized moon medicine journey sessions, intimate 30-day healing experiences limited to just 3 women each lunar cycle. These aren't just surface level sessions. We go deep into your unique patterns, working with your personal birth chart if you so choose, and the lunar cycles to create profound, lasting change. So over 3 carefully timed sessions throughout the month, we explore how your challenges are actually doorways to your most authentic self. Each journey includes personalized practices, your birth chart analysis showing how current cosmic energies are supporting your transformation, and ongoing support as you navigate your own alchemy process. It's for women. So it's for women who are ready to stop seeing themselves as broken and start seeing themselves as beautifully, powerfully, and in process. So the next cycle begins in late August, perfectly timed with some of the powerful transformational energies. You can learn more about more and apply at brolialaire.ca, Moon Medicine Journey. And remember, there are only 3 women per cycle. So if you will go on the wait list if it is past that time frame. So the best way to support this podcast is by sharing it with someone who needs to hear these messages. If today's message resonated with you, please share it on social media, leave a review on your podcast platform, and let other women know about this work. So next week, we're going to explore reclaiming your inner authority as we work with a powerful new moon solar eclipse in Virgo. This is a profound energy for stepping into your own power and trusting your inner wisdom above all other voices. So until then, be patient with your transformation. Trust the timing of your healing. Remember that you're not broken and in need of fixing. You're gold in the process of being refined. Every challenge is making you stronger, wiser, and more authentically you. I'm so grateful that you're on this journey with me. Take beautiful care of yourself, and I'll see you next week. This is Giganomi Gunkwe, also known as Rolly, reminding you that in the space where ancient wisdom meets modern healing, your true gold is revealed. So I will talk to you soon. Have a fabulous day. Bye for now. Maybe if I can turn it off.